Here we are. Shall we start if you like? Hello everybody. First of all, I would like to express my on behalf of the Romualdo Del Bianco Foundation and all the board, starting from our president, Mr. Paolo Del Bianco, and from Carlotta on my left side, and Corinna from my right side, our happiness and appreciation for the decision of the European Humanities University to embark and take part in these initiatives that we named Life Beyond Tourism Infodays. That is a campaign, international campaign, because as probably you know, we already started with universities in Russia and in Latvia, and many others are applying and setting up the date for their Info Day in the coming 2 months. Of course, we are glad that the European Humanities University accepted to give this possibility to their students to learn about the life beyond tourism methodology, philosophy, thoughts, methods, and best practices, and to select a group of students for trying to implement the life beyond tourism in their territory, and to achieve a presentation, a cultural storytelling of the local cultural expressions of one site in Lituania, in Vilnius. So this is the main purpose of this meeting, and in general of the Life Beyond Tourism Info Point, to share with the university partners of the foundation our scientific and practical achievement in the field of interpretation, communication of the cultural identity, for promoting a new way of visiting and traveling that, of course, can't deny the importance of the economic aspect, but at the same time, it focuses on the importance to preserve the identity, to preserve the human aspect of the cultural heritage and the travel. And in order to promote local communities that are traveler inclusive, and to foster the general spirit of hospitality, human and cultural hospitality for intercultural dialogue. This is the aim of this meeting, and in general, as I said, of the campaign we named Life Beyond Tourism Info Day. I am very, very pleased to see connected the pro-rector Alexander Kalbaska, who signed the memorandum of understanding between the foundation and the European Humanities University in January 2019. So it's pretty the 2 years of celebration of this cooperation between us. Of course, I am also glad to see connected Alexei. I guess you are from in Minsk, right? So thank you very much, because it's very important to see also your participation. I cherish always a happy memory of your visit in our headquarters in Palazzo Coppini in Florence with your students, and keeping finger crossed when this pandemic will get free. Hopefully, I trust to see again and to share again an educational experience like we did 1 year and a half ago, if I'm not wrong. I welcome also the, the representative, the head of the communication department, Maximas, Milta. Glad in meeting you, and of course, last but not least, to important operative agents of our collaboration, Professor Stjepan Sureika, and Anastasia. That hopefully we will meet next March. She will start. She bravely decided to start an internship program in our foundation offices in Florence from March, and learning about the Life Beyond Tourism movement thoughts and methods and methodology. We have also opened a special link so that the students attending this meeting can attend and see this meeting. And of course, we also record this meeting, and will be useful and could be seen again in coming days at your convenience. Last but not least, let me express our personal greetings to the rector, Sergei Ignatov, that we always, me and Corinna, cherish a happy memory of our visit in 2018 in your university, and we are glad that as time goes by, we have the chance to collaborate for new initiatives and others. In my schedule, I stop here, of course, because I don't want to bore you so much. In my schedule, it's that I give the floor to you. If you would like to say some words, Mr. Prorector Kalbaska, or Alexei, or Mr. Maximas, you are welcome. So the floor is yours if you would like, before starting with the presentation of Carlotta and Corinna, if you would like to say some words, you are more than welcome.
Sure, I will probably just break the ice on behalf of EHU. My name is Maximas Milta. I'm head of communication development at the European Humanities University, and this is obviously an honor and pleasure to welcome you. And without any doubt, for EHU, partnering with Del Bianco Foundation has been a very important milestone in evolving the understanding of what does the topos and the particular place that we are embodied as a university located in Vilnius, but having quite a diverse student body, how we understand the space that surrounds us. And I think this was with a very fruitful cooperation with you that eventually the university was able to transform our bachelor program, in particular in the area of heritage studies, making sure that across the 4 years of studies, our students are able also to benefit from digging into different ways how particular cities that make so incredible footprint on perception of European identity have played. And without the Bianco Foundation, without being able to be a part of this project, Life Beyond Tourism project, I highly doubt that we would be able to put Florence as the topos for the students of the third year of studies of this program, the European Heritage Program that EHU has. So I see a lot of potential that there has been already in this partnership. And also, I see very good results delivered just in the matter of 2 years. So, despite the pandemic, despite all other odds and challenges, and I'm quite sure that you also are following the developments that are happening in Belarus, the country of origin for the vast majority of our students and our faculty members. I think this is just another very good reason to question again what, after all, is the sense of identity that we are all bounded with, right? What does make us perceive the European identity in the way we do, and what importance does the cultural landmarks play in the sense of cultural belonging to not just to the family of European nations, but more specifically to this particular part of the world. So I think in very many respects, although we are now facing this online format, it would be a huge joy to have this event happening, offline. But nevertheless, I think we should just take advantage of this opportunity. And we're grateful for hosting that you have demonstrated this initiative, and we're able to host this Infoday. And I'm quite confident that our students will also be able to take advantage of this opportunity, because again, for EHU, it's in the name of the university. We're European Humanities University, so therefore being able to address the question of who I am through perceiving the European heritage and the ways how it's been manifested across the continent, I think our partnership is contributes a lot to that. So thank you again, and I'm sure that if any of my colleagues would like to add more, so obviously I'll be happy to pass the floor to them. It's good to be here today with you.
If I may, thank you, dear colleagues, to continue in touch together in this not easy times. At least a few remarks I have to say. First one, I am proud that I had opportunity to sign this agreement many years ago, but I have to correct, life is going on, and now I am not a vice rector, but I continue to stay beyond tourism and beyond coronavirus. And life is going on in spite of all those things, as you mentioned. One small example. 1 week before the new year, in spite of all things, everything depends from the strong desire. I covered in 1 day distance from Switzerland through Italy to Lithuania, through Warsaw. It's possible, even if it's now a lot of limitation around. I wish Anastasia hope, and I am proud that you intend to stay in Italy in nearest March. We continue to communicate, and I hope we will have excellent result in spite of all threats and difficulties. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for your warm greetings. I don't know if it's Stjapan who is the Deus ex machina, let's say, of our of this initiative would like to say something.
Probably just I want to again say thank you for this opportunity, and I want to share with you our impressions, mine and Alexei's impressions of teaching Florence this semester. It's a kind of virtual and a kind of imagined Florence, which we're discussing with our students. And it's not easy. We are extremely brave to do this without having a possibility to visit. But I hope that next semester and your cooperation with Anastasia will allow us to not only to visit, but also to better understand this Florentian spirit and to go on in our cooperation.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Stjapan. Call Carlotta for her presentation. Fortunately, she will use also PowerPoint. So, in case you can stop the microphone and see her slides. Thank you for your comprehension, and Carlotta, the floor is yours.
Okay, so you see, this is the nice and the bad aspects of the live streaming. You see, and but we are happy that we managed to have this meeting because it is really, as Simone said, a very important opportunity to start um, our activities even in a virtual way, but put the basis for practical cooperations. So you can see my slides. I will go quite slow so that the echo is not compromising too much. So what we are talking about is, as you know, a new concept of travel, storytelling, and fruition of heritage. So, as you know, we have a foundation that started all this almost 30 years ago. And the foundation was founded within a tourist activity. And so it belonged to that world that deals with tourism, with welcoming, with hospitality. And within that, it developed something that became an ethos, which is called life beyond tourism, and the ethos was put into practice within a practical activity by the movement Life Beyond Tourism, Travel to Dialogue. So this is the way how the movement became to be a reality that is trying to put really into practice the network of cooperation of the foundation, which is of over 500 institutions worldwide. And the importance of the network of the Life Beyond Tourism info points is that we can put into practical application the ethos Life Beyond Tourism and describe and present the region's identities by involving young generation to draw their own area, to draw the peculiarity of their own area and present it at international level. So, as you know, we work creating a strong synergy between the UNESCO Convention 1972, 2003, and 2005. And we want to help change with the Life Beyond Tourism Travel to Dialogue theoretical, scientific focus point and the system of practical applications to favor a new form of human and economic progress. So we propose a new ethical, cultural, and commercial vision, starting from the World Heritage Sites and their attraction of heritage, either natural or cultural, tangible and intangible, the opportunity to enhance local traditions and the contemporary cultural places, and the opportunity to build an interpersonal relationship. So exercise dialogue, tolerance, and respect for cultural diversity, using what sites have most, or at least have been having most until COVID-19, so the attraction of tourists, of visitors. So we have so many different cultures represented by people traveling around that can meet. And of course, what we have here is the Gioconda and the way the heritage has been seen and used and tick the box. And I've been to see the Gioconda is not the way Life Beyond Tourism wants to help exercise dialogue, tolerance, and respect for cultural diversity. Okay. This is how we want to do it. This is how we want to do it. This is how. So, relaunching the territories, the cultural expressions of our places, which must be protected, is a great opportunity to favor an adequate number of visitors, a desired extension of the stay, a better quality of relationship between peoples and presence, heritage, citizens, travelers, residents, and in solidarity with the territory. And of course, to favor useful reflections on environmental protection. It focuses on the building of a new kind of travel, storytelling, and fruition of the heritage in the respect of planet Earth to support the development of every region. Contributes to dialogue among cultures and enhancing the place identity and local heritage and their cultural expressions. And the tool, as you know, is the Life Beyond Tourism portal in which all the informations are collected, and it is the output of all the research and the storytelling programs. So the InfoPoint network was designed to offer to university the opportunity to be an active part of a program of continuous growth and international exchange on common and urgent themes like to the enhancement and identity of the regions. To give at the same time concrete and participatory tools to young people for a holistic and evolving vision of global society, starting from the protection of the identity of places, and to favor internationalization, mobility, training, and job opportunity. So this is how our network is starting to grow, thanks to institutions like yours that joined our program. So we have already had the InfoPoint in Ivanovo and in Riga, and today we are together. And the next Infodays will be the next 2 months and a half, will follow a program let's say, pandemic situation allowing us to do it, but in either UK, Russia, Azerbaijan, and Mozambique, Taiwan, and Morocco, and others are in in list for the following months. So the InfoPoint network is the starting point of the storytelling of regions, and we tell you why and how. And the first thing is the meaning of local cultural expressions, which is a UNESCO definition that you can find in the UNESCO glossary. And are those expressions, I would like to read it, that result from the creativity of individuals, groups, and societies, and that have cultural content. So it refers to those activities, goods, and services which at the same time they are considered as a specific attribute, use and purpose, embody or convey cultural expression irrespective of the commercial value they may have. So all of them are mentioned and defined in the Convention of the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions. And for us, it is a starting point on which it's based all the storytelling program. So enhancing the cultural expression for livelihood means present the region as a whole, valorize the tangible and intangible heritage in its timing evolution, and helps to share identities and sense of place, engender a sense of belonging and ownership, engagement of local community, foster income generating capacity of local cultural expression themselves. So, as you can see, there can be artisan, local products, common saying, typical food, many different aspects. And the cultural and natural heritage itself is part of the cultural expressions. So the program for this 2021 is articulated in 3 interconnected activities in which students are deeply involved and benefit of learning, interaction, visibility, mobility, and from our side, in connection with you, delivering also of course, final certificate. So we have the photo exhibition, Florence in the World in Florence, storytelling program Back to Life, International Regions Festival for next fall, and the Erasmus Mobility. And we are very happy to give officially our welcome to Anastasia from your university. And we are very, very happy because it means it's a sort of sign of hope that we can start travel again. But beside that, and absolutely, Erasmus Mobility Program is possible to be organized even in distance format, if it will not be possible by then to travel. But of course, being together, it will be much more exalting and an opportunity really to build physically some good programs together. So the exhibition that will arrive to your institution as soon as we will be allowed was supposed to be open and started as a program during last forum in March, and is a program. It's not just an exhibition that have received many patronage internationally. And it is aimed at creating a circuit of sharing and knowledge of places from the livelihood tourist perspective. And it starts from Florence. So Florence that goes around the world and is hosted in different locations, and that will give life to a sort of collective exhibition titled The World in Florence, Microsguardi from the different locations that will send back to Florence their part of the exhibition. So the second half of the program is made by the contribution of the international hosting location. But this project will be an opportunity also to virtually visit the world through the eyes of the residents and have a privileged point of view. So the technical information about the exhibition, it's a photographic exhibition, and Carina Del Bianco is the author of the original shots. It's composed by 14 panels, and each panel has 3 photos, each to describe Florence with its architecture, colors, buildings, products, views. And the thing is that on every panel there is a chip, a NFC chip, to connect the visitor directly to a web page on the portal just using the mobile. So this is an overview of 3 of the panels, just to have the idea of how it is realized. So it's as simple as articulated in the program, in the project. As you see, the NFC icon in the bottom of the page allows to reach the website and deepen the information, because each panel has a online discovery where visitors can just find information and tips with historical figures, idiomas, idea on a typical food, and suggestions on what to see. So also the technical information about each picture, and the possibility to upload photos of their area. And this is a way to interact and allow the public and, for example, the students, the whole group of students of each university and institution, to join and be part of a bigger program that allows interaction, which can be physically when you travel, but also virtual in a moment like the one we are living in. So these are the locations of the exhibition that have joined the program thus far, and we are waiting many other locations for the first to reach within the first semester of the year. So the international exhibition in Florence will be hosted during the International Regional Festival, which is in the fall 2021, and we will wait for the panels from each of the hosting institution, and will be held here in the Auditorium al Duomo, where we will have seminars and many other events, hopefully physically at this point of the year. Otherwise, we will see, but we will manage to have a very interesting and interconnected meeting. So, very strongly linked to the exhibition is the Back to Life storytelling program that comes just after and in connection with the exhibition realization. Why? Because it is a program designed to give a renewed identity in this period of transformation to places and restore them to life, or give them a new life, by being presented by those who live in. So the aim is engender a sense of cultural belonging and awareness in students, and the engagement of the local communities in the project of research, and this researching activity, storytelling activity, foster cohesive territorial visibility at international level, and boost the image of each region as cozy and attractive for new model of tourism, and provide visitors with the right tools for interpret and understand the cultural identity. And finally, but it is very important, especially nowadays, to contribute to the income generating capacity of the local cultural expression and the local development, sustainable and resilient. So turn the page from the back and go on in a different perspective. So for this program, we will set, and you have received the guidelines for realizing it, and we will develop it also with Anastasia when she will be here. We will shape regional web page format, regional web pages, and this is the format. So we will have short description of the area with a map and meaningful pictures, slogans, and so on, city and towns, points of interest, itineraries, all the information that are useful to go deeper than the normal traditional guides of the place. Especially because we think that institutions like universities can put up a focus on specific points that need to be known better and that need to be valorized in the place. Here we have first result, first part of the result of the storytelling program of Memo Kartli region around Tbilisi in Georgia, and this is how the university have developed, following the guidelines, the page of the territory. And you see there are the sections and the information the student, the group, the working group of the students with the professors have developed. And the important part is that at the end of the page, there is the presentation of the working team. So it is not a content that Live Beyond Tourism has realized, but Live Beyond Tourism have favored the realization of this content by a group of people, of resident people, because no one as you, as people who live there and have the tools to present it in the best way, can do. And the university is, of course, presented in the proper way. So in fall 2021, we want to put together the programs of the exhibitions, the microsguardi from each location, as well as the storytelling program Back to Life from each regions, and put together a higher discussion, presentation, and debate, exhibition, and interconnection between institutions, so that we can share best practice, exchange experiences, and develop in a virtuous way. So, in conclusion, we can say that there are 3 points that we want to focus today. How culture and heritage have to be seen resources for the socio-economic development and have to be inserted in integrated management plans. The development, in order to be sustainable, needs to be rooted, deeply rooted in the local culture. And of course, the establishing of a culture of sustainability that comes from the local cultural background allows a more respectful and long-term relationship with the environment and the preservation and enhancement of the local cultural landscape and expressions. So we are ready to start, even though in sort of lockdown and closed, but we are here, and technical let's say topics aside, we are ready and enthusiastic to have Vilnius being an active part in this program. So thank you very much, Anastasia. We welcome you very soon. Be ready. We will have a great time, and we are looking forward to see your online version, your exhibition Florence in Vilnius. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Carlotta, for your presentation that started with a general overview of the philosophy of the Life Beyond Tourism movement, and later focus on which are the next steps that are expected for the students who will decide to go in deep with the knowledge of the life beyond tourism method and the philosophy, supported and led by your tutor. So we have tried to explain what is going on after this preliminary meeting, and now let me invite Corina Del Bianco, who is she will introduce you another important moment for in the coming future for your students. She will give a general overview about the educational content of life beyond tourism, and in particular the e-learning courses that after this meeting a group from European Humanities University will experience. So Corina, here you are, the microphone, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
So, hello everybody. I'm sorry. Hello everybody. I'm really happy of being with you again, with your university again. Last time it was very particular time because it was last spring, and we had a seminar, a wonderful morning of seminar, but it was a very strange period, I think, and because we were in the very first lockdown, we didn't see the end of the tunnel, and now things are getting much better because we have a vaccine, and we see how things will soon get back to a normality. So I'm really, really happy of having this chance also to meet you again. So as Simone was mentioning, I will go through a little bit our educational activities, starting again from a brief introduction of our foundation that you know is a private Florentine institution dedicated to intercultural dialogue, and promotes also the good practices in the field of preservation and enhancement of heritage through the travel for values, and with emotional involvement of the traveler and the local community. We have a very important network of partnerships, among which ICROM institutional, we are institutional partners, and also ICOMOS with its Hungarian committee and also Polish committee, and also international scientific committees such as Theory and Philosophy of Conservation and Restoration, mural painting, and also cultural tourism. And we are also affiliate member of United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, but also we are partners of the United Nations University International Partnership for the Satoyama Initiative, as well as the UNESCO University and Heritage Forum. So this just to remind some institutions that are part of our research and network. That is a network that, as Carlotta was mentioning, is highly spread throughout the world, and is made of institutions that are both academic institutions, but also municipalities, administratives, local governments. And the network is very, very active, and what is, I think, very powerful of our network is that is working in a choral way in order to produce also research results that are then part of our educational activity. So, of course, the aim is to protect and enhance the local cultural identities. And you know that we were starting from a situation that we were living in Florence, but in most of the World Heritage sites, with their attractiveness. So when I took this picture, it was 2018, November 2018. So it was a pretty low season day, pretty rainy, pretty cold. So it was not that crowded, but still, in front of the Galleria degli Uffizi, so the Uffizi Gallery. So I think most of you know it's one of the most important pinacotheques of the world. So it's one of the most important highlights of tourist routes in Florence. So the square here was still very, very crowded. And so when we say that World Heritage sites have the opportunity of creating dialogue among cultures, is because this crowd, if you zoom in, it's full of different backgrounds, full of different cultures, full of people that are coming from very, very different contexts. So if you put these people in touch, in contact, in dialogue, there's a wonderful opportunity of creating occasions to exercise tolerance and respect that are essential for the development of places in peaceful coexistence. So with the livelihood tourism movement, this new commercial offer that is focused on ethics is working to provide, also through this internationalization, these tools and opportunities of intercultural dialogue at different levels. So trying to involve very different targets and parts of the society. So from individuals to institutions, as I was mentioning, also local governments, but also private companies. And as I was mentioning, the network that is carried mainly by the Fondazione Romualdo Del Bianco and the International Institute Lively on Tourism is producing many different types of outputs. So among these, everything is published, and the Lively on Tourism bibliography up to today, since 2000, made up more or less 40 publications. Actually, it's like 45 now with the last three. That are shared with the InfoKit, and for the members of the movement are in download in the livelyontourist.org portal. And we have also some of them, I would like to highlight some of them as milestones because in 2016, with one of these books that actually was a very simple book, it was simply a slides book, the concept of the synergy and the cooperation, the synergy, the circular synergy among the UNESCO conventions 1972, 203, 205 was firstly highlighted. And then always in 2016, there was a very powerful year in terms of achievement of research. We published the World Heritage Sites for Dialogue, so in which we were highlighting the importance and the opportunities that World Heritage Sites had in creating opportunities of dialogue, but also the responsibility that they had in doing so. So with their management plans and also with the creation of a certification system that was able to give the tools to the sites and to the managers to control and to create their own objectives and goals for making their place more resilient and sustainable. And then in 2019, World Heritage for Building Peace, that we first developed in occasion of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee, that 42nd UNESCO World Heritage Committee, that was held in Manama, Bahrain. So fostering these opportunities, so from dialogue among culture, how to get to peace building opportunities. So, and from that, it came out the idea of the forum 2020. So there was supposed to be held in Florence in March 2020. That was called Building Peace Through Heritage. So we couldn't have it, of course, in presence here in Florence. But we had the online event. So some of you, I think, took part to the online event that we had in October. And we published 3 books that represent a very important result for the network, because they are reflections on how heritage can build opportunities of peace, coming from over 40 countries, 140 authors. So very transversal view on the topic. So the educational offer that we created on these topics and based on these researches is trying to encompassing the different sectors of the society that I was mentioning before. So, for example, we have the training for trainers, and this is an intensive course that actually we always had in presence up to now. And up to today, we had 34 participants from institutions and local governments and universities of 19 countries. And this course is aimed at training professors and people coming from municipalities and administrations to be able to then train in their own institution and countries the topics that we have studied. And so if you look around the countries that took part, you will see that there's a pretty strong presence of African countries. And this also because they are looking towards good practices for the development of their local economies without losing their identities. And of course, travel and tourism is a pretty important economy that they are now approaching. And then also businesses and institutions. So for them, we created an e-learning program that is for free for all the members that want to certify their activity for intercultural dialogue. And then we have university students. And so the activity of the foundation, we can say that actually started with international students workshops over 30 years ago. So there's a very strong activity that and it has always been ongoing. And beside this, of course, we created also an e-learning activity, the first e-learning course. This e-learning course is dedicated to university students, and maybe some of you will have the chance of doing it. And if you do that, we really look forward to have your comments about that, so that we can make it more richer. We can make it richer for the next times and ameliorated. So the course gives the tools to decline the life beyond tourism intercultural dialogue opportunities into challenges for the design process at the architectural, conservation, renovation, and urban scale. And it's available on the Udemy platform for everybody, actually, but specifically is for free for the members of the Life beyond tourism movement. And then also children, because it's from them that it also starts the local culture, the development of a new culture. They, of course, are now stopped because of COVID, but we will go back hopefully soon to do them, mainly with summer and winter camps in Florence. We are now working specifically also at master level, university master level, with 2 Erasmus Plus projects. So the first one, in which we were involved, bringing our experience into courses made completely from nothing, so completely made by us, for master curriculum for architects, conservators, urban designers, was the program called SURE, Sustainable Urban Rehabilitation in Europe, that we carried out from 2016 to 2019, and it is now implemented in its pilot versions at the Polytechnical Schools of Madrid, Vilnius, Lublin, and the University La Sapienza in Rome. And now we are at the last year of the 3 years project UNINET, University Network for Cultural Heritage, Integrated Protection, Management, and Use. And in this project, we are creating a 1-year course as master curriculum for architects, conservators, archaeologists, and landscape designers. We are also working at bachelor students level, and mainly we had 3 major activities. So since 2014, at the Josai International University in Tokyo with intensive programs. And in 2016, we hold a workshop at the Azerbaijan University of Architecture and Construction. And in 2020, just last October, we had a workshop, an intensive workshop at the University of Economics and Business of Prague. And the awareness so the practice that we also try to put in practice. Sorry for the repetition. It's also created by our headquarters, that is Palazzo Coppini. That is also the museum of the Fondazione del Bianco. So there's 2 aspects of this building that we completely renewed with a conservative restoration, and that stands in the very heart of the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Florence. So from the one side, the museum is the place in which we gathered the collections of all the memories donated to the foundation in its over 30 years of activity. And on the other side is a place that we left open for encounters of the different cultures and cultural expressions, and in the very heart of Florence. So it's mainly a place in which people can meet and can meet also other cultures. And our sharing and confrontation activity is also something that is very important for us. So we always bring our contribution to international conferences. We organize ICOMOS International Scientific Committees in Florence. And every year, before COVID, we were organizing General Assembly and Symposium, and this will be still an ongoing activity as soon as we will be able again to start this kind of networking, sharing, and confrontation in presence modes. And I have a video now that is going to start, I hope, maybe with an echo, I don't know. This video is about the 2019 General Assembly and Symposium, and this is just to give you an idea of those days and how we live those days in Florence. Every year we have a guest country. That year was Bahrain, that was bringing its cultural expressions. Okay. So I will leave you with an invitation, the invitation to have a look, and if you want also to sign the appeal that we launched during that General Assembly and Symposium in March 2019, an appeal to the international community, building peace through heritage, aimed at raising awareness on the importance of heritage in promoting opportunities of intercultural dialogue. And so you can have a look at it on the lifebeyondtourist.org portal, and everybody can subscribe it. And so that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Corinna. And we have concluded our presentation that, as I told you before, was aimed to give to all of you, and especially the students that are attending this meeting, a general overview of the principles that moved the Life Beyond Tourism movement to pursue in terms of local cultural awareness and interpretation and communication, to foster a form of visiting a place that is respectful of the local identity, that it is not moved completely and solely by economic consideration, but would like to keep the original soul of the travel. That first of all, it's a human experience, is a human opportunity for local inhabitants to know their identity, from where they are, and to have the possibility to create a personal interpretation for giving the best presentation of their site to the external visitor. And on the other side, Latvia World Tourism would like also to emphasize how visiting a place, it is not just a mere displacement, but it is first of all an opportunity to live a human experience that enrich yourself and allow to appreciate and realize how much important, especially in this historical period time, how much important it is to not to lose the cultural and human aspects of dialogue, mutual respect, and cultural diversity. So in this hour, we have tried to attract your young students to the life beyond tourism philosophy and explain which have been the best practices that we have implemented in Florence, and that now we are trying to transmit in the places where university partners like yours is living, is teaching, in order to invite to join this movement that, as Carlotta explained you before, is starting to evolve universities and students from different parts of the world. As I wrote to Stjepan, after this presentation, regardless the technical hurdles that we have been forced to face, now we are expecting to create a group of students that is interested in going in depth with life beyond tourism methodology, and in few days I will invite them to attend our e-learning course that is available on our portal, Life Beyond Tourism portal, that has been created and by Corinna, and according to the experience that we all share over the last 15 years. And after your working team has completed this e-learning course, then we will invite them to focus on a specific site in Lithuania, maybe Vilnius, or maybe surrounding, or any other sites that you think are worthy to be examined, to be studied, to be presented, following the Life Beyond Tourism methodology. Of course, we will be ready to assist you, and since now I am available at any time for any other online meeting. And at the conclusion, we will following a sort of guideline that I have already given to Stjepan. We are expecting you to produce a cultural storytelling of the sites that you would like to emphasize. After that, we will do our best to give a promotion action, either on our through our socials, that is a newsletter, portal, and other. And in fall 2021, as Carlotta said, with this, with an international festival of the territories, where the work of your students will be emphasized together with the other one that in current time are starting or will start soon. We will create a sort of global community of people, young people involved in studying and living and expressing and communicating their territory, their culture, their identity, and at the same time ready to study and to see what is going on in other countries, what is going on through the work of other peers, students from other parts, from Japan, from USA, from Russia, from Lithuania, and so on. Because this is our main ethical purpose, the purpose of the foundation with its Life Beyond Tourism movement, to create, to make a young generation awareness that through culture it is possible to enlighten the most important and human side of visiting a place. We have tried to explain in short which is the aims of the Life Beyond Tourism Infoday campaign. I don't know if there are some questions that someone of you would like to raise. I am aware that, especially in Minsk, it's getting late, so I apologize for the time. But anyway, if there are someone who would like to make some question, otherwise we can close here our meeting. And of course, it is just only the conclusion of the first step, as I told you before. That's because other days of working together we are waiting for us. Styapan, I don't know, Anastasia.
I just wanted to thank you all for the time, for the information, and for the meeting. Carlotta and Karina, I'm personally glad to see you all today, and I hope that we'll see each other in person soon. I hope that indeed my fellow students, my colleagues from EHU, will be active and participating in the projects of the Life Beyond Tourism movement. That would be actually great, because I personally have great memories from our conversation back in 2018. 2018, I guess that was. And I truly believe that the experience that you have will be very useful for our university, working with the heritage. In particular, I would be pretty glad if I had a moment and use the opportunity of your attention to share some academic news that we have, specifically on the project that, Karina, you may remember that last time in spring when we met in the framework of a conversation with Stepan Storeka, our professor, I mentioned that our university was working on a project about the Florentine Stendhal syndrome, which is pretty important, I guess, in the framework of the conversation about Florence. And back then I described briefly our project, and today, or let's say a couple of days ago, BBC Radio 4 has published a podcast using our materials and mentioning our university with our great friend Riccardo Santoro from the Italian Institute in Vilnius. So I think that this experience of us coming to Florence and working with the Life Beyond Tourism movement and the foundation of Ronaldo Del Bianco is very, very important for the students and for the members of our academic community. I would like to leave the link to all of the participants of the current meeting, to the foundation, and to my colleagues in the chat box. I would be very glad if you would listen to the podcast. That would be very cool. Thank you again for the information. Let's stay in contact and promote the projects that we have in soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Anastasia, and we are all keeping fingers crossed for your coming visit, coming experience in Florence next March. So, dear friends, let me again express our appreciation and thanks for your participation. I have been delighted to see again many friends of us, starting from Sciapan, but also Professor Kalbaska and the new one, Alexei, and so that's all, folks, as we are used to say. And again, thank you very much. I personally will start at the beginning of next week to bore Sciapan and for going on with our collaboration. And so from Florence, while waiting for a better time when it will be possible to shake our hands in person. For the moment, let me say to everybody a big ciao, and to see soon in reality. But in the meantime, we are eager and looking forward to work side by you for promoting Vilnius and Lithuanian cultural expression throughout our network. Thank you very much again, dear friends.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Da, grazie.